Today on the channel is a return of the Kyle Peterson Top 5, and in this crazy action figure collecting world here in 2025, I think it's a good reminder to take that step back, and we're going to do that in today's videos. We're going to count down my top 5 reasons for collecting action figures.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 5, a Thursday tradition where every single Thursday on the channel, we're counting down my top 5 favorites or occasionally top 10 favorites of something or someone. And today, we got a video with a little bit of a twist as we're going to count down my top 5 reasons for being an action figure collector. And I felt this was a timely video where we all got to kind of look ourselves in the mirror, as there's a lot going on in the world, and you could say every single year, every single day, there's a lot going on in the world, let's be honest. But right now, action figures are under attack, maybe. No pun intended with, of course, good friend of the channel, Steve Ozier. But we do know there's price increases coming, already happened, looming. We know about the tariff situation. Yes, Todd McFarlane from the couch, tariffs, as Todd McFarlane calls it. Tariff situation. You almost got me saying tariffs. Tariff situations going on right now, the up and down as far as tariffs go. Price increases coming up, coming down if you're Hasbro. A lot of unsettling times in the action figure collecting world right now. So I figured today's video, I'm going to do a top 5 and hopefully to remind myself why I'm a collector. What makes me a collector? And of course, brief story on me, you've heard it before. I go way back to the early 80s collecting action figures. When I was like 2 years old, I remember getting my first He-Man figure. 3 years old. What is time? Who knows? But I was a He-Man guy through and through. I dabbled in some Star Wars. And then G.I. Joe hit. I started getting into G.I. Joe, wrestling, and the rest was history. I've basically been a lifelong collector. But what drives me, what makes me to continue to be a collector in my advanced age, because we did learn I'm 81 years old, as a lot of people have been saying, what drives me to collect to this day and age? Why do I collect? What are the reasons? And I feel like everything I stated at the top with the tariffs and the price increases, maybe we got to take a step back, put on a business hat, and remind ourselves why we collect. And it's about the fun, all things considered. But I'm going to dive into my top 5 reasons. And feel free, of course, we're going to do this video like we do all the other ones. We're going to start at number 5, work our way to number 1. Number 1 being the biggest reason I do collect, and hopefully you guys can put a list together and, of course, put it in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's kick it off. Let's have a fun one. Let's kick it off at number 5. All right, we kick the countdown off, of course, at number 5. And number 5 seems a little bit strange, but stick with me here. The number 5 reason why I collect, a sense of purpose/goals. And it's kind of weird to say that action figures give a purpose for your life. Most people would say, you know, maybe their religion, maybe their family, maybe their animals. Whatever it may be, what gives you a sense of purpose? Well, action figures give me a sense of purpose and goals ever since I was a little kid. It was something I did, something that a lot of people related with me throughout my entire life, but also the goals of collecting. There's a sense there of accomplishment throughout the years, throughout the days, throughout the weeks, whatever it may be. There's something fun about setting a goal, setting a list, and it goes back to me as a child, getting the Sears catalog, the JCPenney's catalog, whatever the catalog may be. You sit there, you circle, you think, I want this, I want this. You remember back to the Kenner days when Kenner had those pamphlet books. There was something fun ever since I was a little kid, even to this day, putting a checklist together, putting a want list together, and then going out and getting that. Maybe it was for Easter, maybe it was for your birthday, maybe it was for Christmas, maybe it was because you graduated elementary school. Whatever the reason was, you had a list of stuff you wanted, and it gave you a sense of purpose to check that off and to follow up and keep consistent on something. I always think you should be looking forward to something in life, and you could take this away from action figures to anything, but you should always be thinking, what do I have coming up? What excites me coming up? You always want to look to the future. Now, you should revel in the present, I guess. No time like the present, because your future's never always guaranteed to you, as we do know. But I feel like in life, in all kinds of things, not just action figures, I like the sense of purpose. I also like the sense of goals in the future. Here's what I want to accomplish in the future. There's always something left to do. And I feel like if you had everything done and you're all done, that's the day you just drop dead and die. I've had a lot of people in my life that I've worked with that worked a career for many years. They retire within a couple of weeks. They die. They lose that sense of purpose. They lose that sense of goals. That's why it's so important to have hobbies in your life, something above and beyond your day-to-day grind, because eventually that grind's going to be over, and then where are you? And that's where action figures in a roundabout way is for me. There's a sense of purpose. There's a sense of goal, one step after another. All right, I completed this Turtles Haul-a-thon collection. Now what's next for Ninja Turtles? I like that. That is a big thing for me in action figure collecting. So big, in fact, it comes in at number 5. We carry on with the countdown to number 4. The number 4 reason why I collect, well, there's a big part of it. At the end of the day, I'm just a hunter, and I'm coming after you. Maybe, maybe not. But like a young Ted Nugent into the wild, that's what I am in my toy hunting. And toy hunting has been something I've cherished ever since I was a little boy, getting to go to the store, getting to see the new toys. Now, I will say, and we've talked about this before on the channel, the thrill of the hunt isn't quite what it used to be, because back in the day, all the olden days, you used to go to the store and you had no idea there could be something new you'd never even heard of. I talk about it a lot, the Hasbro days of WWF collecting way back when. You think you have them all, then all of a sudden you show up and what is the Mountie doing here? When did that come out? The thrill of the hunt was always something special. You never knew what you were going to get yourself into. Now, in this day and age, for the most part, with YouTube and all kinds of other stuff, we know what's out there on the pegs for the most part. Every once in a while we get a surprise, but there still is the thrill of the hunt. I still get energized. I still get the satisfaction hunting the stores. And guess what? We've all been there. I went to 10 stores in a day, found nothing. But guess what? That was a fun day, and it makes it when we find something that much sweeter. You got to revel in that. If a lot of people say, I want to go to the store and get whatever I want, man, that takes a lot of fun out of it. If I could just go to the store and get everything and be done, I don't know. That just wouldn't be as fun. And as far as collecting full circle, I don't know if I would enjoy collecting that much. There's something about chasing something down, something about hunting something down. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, if you really want something bad enough, you will find it. You might have to have patience, might have to play the long game. You might have to pay a couple dollars more, but if you really want something, you can find it. Now, back in the day, pre-eBay, pre-internet, that was not always the case. You could find a figure, you love it, it breaks on you. You got no way to replace that figure. Now you can replace anything if you really want to and you got the finances, but the thrill of the hunt is something I cherish, something that really drives me every single day. I love it. I'm working my day job and I'm out somewhere, some town I've never been in, and oh my gosh, there's a Target. Well, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there at the end of the day, whatever it may be, because I want to see how the other half lives. I want to see something different. I want that thrill of the hunt. It's an adrenaline rush. It guides me. It's fun. I've done it my whole life, and I will continue to do it my whole life. And even times when I'm not hunting anything, when I know there's not anything going to be there, I like to go just to see how the merchandising is. I like to see how the pegs are set up, sometimes the pricing, and just to see what's out there, how the other half lives. So the thrill of the hunt is a very big thing for me. That's why it comes in number 4. We've hit the number 3 spot in the countdown. You got your list together. Put it in the comments down below. But here we are at number 3 in the top 5 reasons why I collect. And I have to imagine this is going to be on everybody's list somewhere in there. And I got to say, all these things in this list, all very close. They all go hand in hand for the most part. But number 3 for me is, I don't care if you're collecting knives. I don't care if you're collecting guns, you're collecting action figures, music, CDs, vinyls, whatever. Most of the time, people are collecting for one big reason. That's nostalgia. And that's where I'm at. Nostalgia. Things that brought me joy in my childhood, I'm collecting all these years later. Now, when you're a little kid, you love watching the cartoons, reading the comic books, playing with the action figures. It was such an important time of your life. And if you're like me, a kid of the 80s, you know, the 80s, your parents went to work all day. You stayed home alone. You got yourself up in the morning, you walked to school. You got yourself up in the morning, you walked home from school. Parents probably weren't there on either end of that. They came home around dinner time. You were left to your own devices. And what was I doing with those devices? I was in my basement with my G.I. Joes, my wrestling, my He-Man, whatever, with cartoons on, maybe sports on, something like that. But I was enjoying life playing there, and just your simple childhood. I have no worries. My biggest worry was who was going to win, He-Man or Skeletor, in this fight I was going to have do right in front of me right there. it was nostalgic. And I think back to those simple times, and I think all these years later, where I'm at right now in my life, man, I always say, I didn't know how good I had it as a little kid. You didn't have the worries of a mortgage and your job and making sure everything was good. All you were doing was showing up, going to school, coming home, doing your thing. Your parents paid your mortgage. They made sure you were fed, all that kind of stuff. So, man, how simple I had it. And I always knew that I was enjoying it. I knew how good I had it when I was a little kid. For whatever reason, I knew I was like, man, I'm so lucky to do this. And every time I got an action figure, man, I'm so lucky. I never took any of that for granted. I don't take that for granted still, even though it's my money instead of my dad's money. And Dad, can we start funding the hobby again? Maybe in your advanced age here, you're just a hair older than me. Maybe you could start funding these purchases just like the good old days. I have to look into that a little bit. But nostalgia is a heck of a drug, as they say. And that's the reason I collect to this day, is trying to relive some of that magic from He-Man and G.I. Joe and every point in between from my childhood. And now we're getting the figures how we imagined them in our head when we were playing as a kid. You're getting the way you imagined them right now. So it's very nostalgic. It's very fun. And that's number 3 reason why I collect all these years later. Getting dangerously close to the top spot. We're at number 2 in the reasons I do collect. And number 2 for me, it's all about passion. I'm very passionate about everything I do in life. I wear my loves on my shoulders, on my sleeves at all time. I always have. I've never been embarrassed to be a wrestling fan. I've never been embarrassed to be an Oakland A's fan. I've never been embarrassed to be a heavy metal fan, an action figure collector. I've worn it on my sleeves my entire life, and I've always been my authentic self to this day. And I never hide behind things. I never say, no, I didn't do that, or no, I'm not into that, or no, I think this is cool when it's not cool. I don't do that either. I don't jump on bandwagons like, oh, this is the greatest thing. I'll never forget, in the 2000s, the late 90s, oh, Creed, the greatest band ever. I hated Creed. I still hate Creed. They don't do anything for me. Yeah, I know they got popular songs and stuff, but I wouldn't be authentic to myself, which, well, all my buddies are listening to Creed. I should listen to Creed too. Nah, it doesn't work that way. So it's about passion at the end of the day, being passionate about your loves, and action figure being a one big love of mine in my life. And it's about passion for action figures, and it's about the entire cycle of action figures. I love hearing the news and the reveals, going to San Diego Comic-Con, seeing what's coming right in my face, and everybody loves to see stuff coming in their face, I'm sure. But it's about that passion for seeing the digital render, and then the pre-order goes up. All the excitement of the pre-order, getting your pre-order in. And then waiting. Waiting. It's the hardest part. Tom Petty sat me on his knee, told me that many years ago. But the waiting, and just waiting in the anticipation for that figure to come in the fall. Like right now, I'm like, man, that next Legends wave. We got Terry Funk ×2. We got the Great Muta. Yeah, we got Billy Gunn. Yeah, we do. But very excited for that. So it's just the waiting. It's the hardest part, but it's so exciting there. And then, of course, the cycle of collecting continues. It's hitting Target. Here's the street date. Going to Target, getting it. Did I get the chase? Did I not get the chase? The passion there, the fun there. Bringing it home, checking out the box, looking the package over. It's so fun for me. I enjoy the packaging at heart. I'm a mint-on card collector. I just can't do it. Nobody has enough space for that. At least I don't. But it's just the passion of the Terry Funk, seeing the figure, and then taking it to do a review, getting to talk about it, look through it, doing all that. Then the excitement of taking the picture of it, posing it around, playing around with it, looking at it, staring at it, and then finally giving it its spot in my collection, putting it. The full cycle of the Terry Funk figure. That is passion. That is fun for me. I love every single step of the process. Same thing. Oh, Motorhead's in the studio making a new album. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it. I get an update from the album on social media. We got 15 songs planned. We're going to record 9. Just the in and outs of that. Then getting the album. All the things I love. It's about passion. It's about following the cycle throughout. But it is start with passion. It does start with passion. And that's one of the things that keeps me collecting to this day. One of my favorite things about collecting is the passion for the item, the passion for things we collect. And that is number 2, but means there can only be one. Like a young Highlander, what is the number 1 reason I collect? Well, stay tuned. All right, we're at the end of the top 5. The top 5 reasons why I collect. You got your list together. Put it in the comments down below. Of course, every single Thursday, we got a top 5, occasionally top 10 video. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out my other YouTube channel while you're at it. And then for early access to everything I do between both channels and my brand new podcast, check out YouTube channel memberships and the Patreon to support the channel. But here we are at the number 1 spot of the top 5. And clear and easy for me, you know, as you get older, life gets more stressful. It sure does. When you got a mortgage, you got an auto loan, maybe on a car payment or something, you got to bring groceries home every day. You got kids, you got to keep them fed. You got to keep your wife fed. You got to keep your wife happy, of course. There's a lot of stresses. And then on top of that, the work grind, you know, the 9 to 5, or if you're like me, the 6 to 11 p.m.s, it seems like most days, and weekends. So depending, your mileage may vary. Maybe you're retired. Maybe you have a stress-free job. I don't know. But I do know, me personally, I have a very stressful job every single day. I know at any moment, 7 days a week, 24/7, I'm a text message away from a disaster at all times that could just ruin your whole weekend. And your weekend, you thought you were going to the beach with the family. Well, you guys go ahead. I'm going to stay home and work all weekend. It's a tough life, but it's a life I choose. I've done it to myself. It's my own fault, or my dad's fault. Maybe we should bring him on and discuss. Maybe not, but it is an interesting life. And of course, work is stressful depending where you're at. Now, maybe if you're working at McDonald's, maybe it's not so stressful, or maybe it is, you know, the flurry machine's down or something. I guess there's stress levels of every single job, every single kind of thing out there. But I know my job is extremely stressful. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of research, a lot of presentations, a lot of travel. There's a lot to it. So I have a stressful day in, day out job. So when I'm not working, what do I want to do? I want to surround myself. Obviously, you got your family, you got your dogs, you got your friends, you got your relatives, you got all that. But you need something to guide the force. And we talked about that throughout this top 5 video. But for me, the number one reason I collect in this day and age, right now where I'm at in my life, is stress relief. The hobby should be fun. Now, yes, you're right, Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane from the couch, of course. Right now, maybe action figure collecting isn't so stressed. We've seen job layoffs for some of the companies out there, price increases, the tariffs increases. Obviously, none of that is fun for anybody. So maybe it is a little bit stressful in the action figure world. But all of that to the side, guess what? There's still action figures. There's still properties we've loved our entire life. There's still stuff coming out. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive, but I'd rather pay a couple of extra dollars than not have something I want so much. Like the Terry Funk I Quit match, bringing that legend figure once up again. I'll gladly pay $5 more for that because I've wanted that my entire life since I was a 9-year-old kid checking out Terry Funk for the first time in my life. So there's a lot of stresses in life in general. The hobby, as far as action figure collecting, for the most part, is not stressful to me. Now, I know some people out there are thinking, well, it's stressful when I can't get the action figure I want. Well, that is true, but that's a funner stress than saying, hey, Kyle, if you can't get this project done correctly in the next 5 hours, guess what? You're fired. That's a whole different kind of stress rather than, could I find this action figure? So you got all the baseline, everything there. But at the end of the day, stress relief is a big thing. I can look to that Ultimate Warrior LJN and get a big smile on my face, take me back to that moment as a little kid getting that as a present, and just my life changing forever. So stress relief is a major, major part of all this. Major part of my collecting, where I am in my life right now, to take myself away and a little bit out of the headspace of the work grind, you know, even the family grind and the payments grind and the mortgage grind, whatever that grind may be outside of action figures. It is a true stress relief. It is truly fun at the end of the day. And that's probably why you're watching this video or why you collect action figures. It is fun. It should be stress-free. The little stress is okay. It's a fun stress, I say, compared to the 9 to 5 stress. How about that? So there it is. That's the top reason I collect right now in my life, stress relief. But once again, put your list in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channels, of course. Check out my new podcast every single Tuesday where we deep dive a lot of this stuff in the podcast. Every single Tuesday, wherever audio podcasts are found. Video cast on YouTube as well. It is The Kyle Peterson Show. Check it out if you have not already and give it a 5-star review. Why wouldn't you at this point? Of course, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. And of course, my brand new book, The Complete Guide to the ECW Original San Francisco Toy Makers, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or softcover, hardcover, pick your poison, but you can also pick up a copy from me. We'll come with a Kyle Peterson Show sticker, an exclusive bookmark, and an autograph, if that is your thing. Appreciate all the support on the book. So there it is, the top 5 reasons I collect. So I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.